Are you finding job right now in cybersecurity? Or are you a hiring manager who's looking for more tips in order for you to get some talents that you need in cybersecurity? So if you are one of those guys, then you are lucky, because today we collected a lot of intriguing questions that I know some of you are asking when it comes to finding job in cybersecurity. And actually, the original plan is for me to talk about this because back then I was hiring also in my own company called Cybersecurity. However, that was several years ago, and I'm thinking that might be outdated already. So right now, we are fortunate because a very important person in ProSec is joining us today, the team lead of the offensive security team in ProSec. Please welcome Michael Topal.
Thank you for this brief, warm introduction. So you have collected a lot of questions?
Yes, and first of all, I want to thank you because I know you're a very, very busy person and you made some time for this. So yes, I collected a lot of questions, and feel free to go around with all of those things and share all of your experiences that can add more value to the people that are watching us right now. So, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so this is not kind of hot seat, so just relax.
Fine.
So number one question that we gathered. Certifications like OSCP, CAH, and many other certifications are hyped as interview deal makers. But are they just a cash grab? What specific skills or preparation should candidates bring to impress you in a pen testing interview?
Thank you for that question. When it comes to certifications, it's usually a proof for having collected and experienced and learned some skills.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing.
Okay.
Usually those certificates are costing money for sure, and a lot of them are, let me say like this, necessary for HR people that are pre-filtering, that do pre-qualifications and so on, because the HR people that do exactly this, the pre-qualification, don't know about how to see from a CV if the applicant is technically skilled or not.
Yeah. Especially the practical certifications, right? That
exactly.
has an exam like that, because in there you can really see their eagerness whenever they really want to learn cybersecurity and such. Okay, so when it comes to certification, do you recommend some certifications that is out there, or?
There are a ton of certificates out there. Some of them have advantages, some of them have disadvantages. To learn cybersecurity, to have the skill of cybersecurity, of this what you need for a daily life of a pen tester. To be honest, no certificate is needed.
Yeah.
But, however, it helps. It can help a lot for sure. There are certificates out there which are quite expensive. And when someone is new in the cybersecurity field and wants to learn cybersecurity, it's hard to have the financial aspect in the background because they are not really cheap.
Yeah.
Some of them are expensive and are high valued and seen by HR people, for example. Some of them are more or less not known that much, not famous that much, but also prove a technical skill.
Yes. So how about this? What specific skills or preparation should candidates bring to impress you?
When we try to find talents at ProSec, of course we look also at certificates, but it's not mandatory. It's not absolutely mandatory. What's even more important is to see, and that's also the challenge for me or for every other recruiter, because you can't find it in a CV, you can't have it on a piece of paper, the passion of the people, the enthusiasm of cybersecurity.
Yes.
This is the most important thing, because technically you can learn everything. The question is only how fast you can learn, how much enthusiasm you show, and how encouraged you are to learn.
Okay.
But you can learn everything. The question is how fast.
Yes.
And the challenge is, especially for recruiting, is to find this passion, to see this passion. Because sometimes the people might not have this passion yet. But when they got inspired, when they get motivated, then they learn this passion on their self. And then they have an extreme high learning curve. And it doesn't matter which certificate you have.
Yes, that's true. So another question from our viewers. They said that some companies throw brutal technical challenges at candidates, like live pen testing demos and so on. What's the toughest test you've given, and how can job seekers prepare to crush it without choking under pressure?
I'm not really into those challenges at the beginning of the recruiting process.
Okay. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, sure. Like I mentioned, the passion of the people is very important. And if you have a technically high-skilled person, then this person is not guaranteed to be a good part in the company, of the company, and to be a good part of the team.
Yeah, I think there's a saying back then that the skills, the technical skills, it can be learned. But the passion, the values, and the what do you call
also
it?
The social skills.
Yes, yeah. I think it's much harder to get.
When we invite someone after the first interview, in the first interview, we try to see how they act, how they are, what's their profession, what's their passion, and also see if they are arguing they have that skill, or if they are being honest and say, okay, no one knows everything, right? And when we invite the people, the applicants, they come and join us for a whole day. Of course, they sign an NDA. Maybe they see some presentations. Maybe they get in touch with other pen testers. We do this for two reasons. The first reason is for these people, for those guys to see if ProSec in that case is a suitable company and environment for himself. And of course, the other way around, all of our colleagues will meet him and get in touch with him. And we go maybe together to lunch and having appointments, having a coffee break or whatever. So the other way around, we try to see if this also matches.
Yeah. I think this is also good news for a lot of the viewers that is watching right now, because not everyone, especially for those people who are just starting, is very, very, very technical. So I think in this kind of, kind of hiring, they were given a chance to shine, even if they are not that technical.
Exactly.
But, the values is there. And then from later on, when they are inside the company, they can grow a lot more, because there's a lot of people that can help them, and I think the mindset is already in there that they're eager to learn so much more.
I'm glad that you mentioned the mindset,
Yes.
because this is also something which is very, very important, and also hard to figure out,
Yes.
because you can't see how the people are thinking and how they're acting out of a CV. And also in 1 hour interview, I'm sure there are a lot of people that can read people's mind, but that's not the usual recruiter, let me say it like this. And so even in 1 hour interview, it's sometimes hard to see if the mindset fits our company culture. And therefore, we invite them to be our guest for 1 day. And also this is a lot of work. So we do a lot of work for recruiting. You have several people busy about the whole day.
Yes.
But this is our personal, our invest as a company in the people to find the right people, not only skilled people that have some sort of certifications, but also to find people that are matching our philosophy, have the right mindset, and fit in our team.
Okay. So for the next question, let's be honest. Entry-level job posting asking for 3 to 5 years of experience is kind of ridiculous, especially for juniors. So how can candidates with zero pen testing experience convince hiring managers like you that they're worth a shot in an interview?
Juniors should have 10 years of experience. Of course, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
The amount of experience, even especially in a cybersecurity role, is not that much important for me personally, because it's the same with certificates. Because for a lot of people, they are having hacking, security, cybersecurity stuff as a hobby for years.
Yes.
Probably. They're having a job as an IT sysadmin, for example, also hardening their environment and so on, but they are in a cybersecurity role. From the paper, from a perspective of a piece of paper. Why should we disqualify them from the beginning without even having a chat with him? So the amount of experience is not that necessary.
Yes.
Of course, we welcome to see some sort of certifications, but it's not mandatory. And also the amount of experience they have for a junior role, for a professional role, is not that mandatory and not that important. Because in not every case you can see that they are in a security role. And we have pentesters at ProSec. They had zero experience before they came to us, and now they are senior pentesters and are skilled like very high.
Actually, for my experience also back then when I had my own company, I have this employee that is a dropout of college. I hope you're watching in there. And then this guy is really, really passionate when it comes to cybersecurity. And you can really see his eagerness when it comes to doing these kind of things. And can you believe it that he's one of the guys that is really thriving, even though compared to those, what you call this, as masters and college degrees and stuff like that. So I think in that case, it's really a good thing that it doesn't matter what kind of certifications or degrees that you have. Just if you have the passion and eagerness to learn and to do this kind of thing, if you love it, as they say, if you love something that you do, then you will not work, or you will not feel that it is really a work thing.
I see it exactly like you see it.
Okay.
The eagerness and the will to learn is unbearable.
Yes.
And this is the most important thing.
Okay.
Because like I mentioned before, technically you can learn everything. You can do and have every certification. But this doesn't necessarily mean that you fit into a team, that you are a team player, that you have the right mindset, which is necessary.
Okay, so the next question is kind of controversial. Free sample pen test during interviews. So there are some companies that is asking for this, which feels sketchy.
With free samples, you mean like a proof of work?
Yes.
So you hand over into a client's customer environment, and they should start the assessment.
Is this a red flag? And how should applicants in there that is watching should handle it to protect themselves while still landing the job?
This is an interesting aspect. What makes me more curious is the original intention of the company which is acting like this, and how they are observing the results and how they are interpreting the results of the start of the assessment. Because everyone has a different approach. Of course, you can have some kind of a standard, a default methodology, something like this, but every pen tester has its own way. So when you try to achieve some kind of flex on the customer environment, and the different approach of this applicant gets handled and measured differently, then I think it's complicated.
Okay, so what can you say if, for example, what should they hide in those previous pen tests that they had, that some that they give to those employers? Because as we've tackled a while ago, it's like they want to see some sample pen tests that you've made back then. So
do you mean sample reports, something like this?
Yes,
or
some of
really
the
in live hacking on
reports. Should they blur something, or is it technical or is it ethical at all to give it to those employers, because it might damage the...
When I would be the customer and I would hire a company for doing a pen test and collecting and having sort of sensitive information, which is a pen test report always, it's always a huge amount of very, very sensitive information. I would give this company the trust that they keep this data sensitive.
Yes.
So reports, even if the customer name is blurred,
it's kind of shady.
Yes,
right?
It is. Yes, it's totally shady, and I'm quite sure it's definitely against the law.
Okay. So in this case, if the job seeker encountered this kind of employer who is asking for this kind of thing, what can you advise to them in order for them to pivot to another ethical way to, to still land the job? So what can you advise them?
I think maybe we cut it out later. When I would apply as a pen tester and a hiring manager would ask me for a sample report of a previous customer, I would probably ask him, can you show me reports of your customer?
Yeah, I think it's a red flag, right?
Yes, it is. Definitely a red flag. Totally.
Yeah. So
of course, when you have a job interview, and like I mentioned, when we have the first interview, the first step done, and we invite them for, call it whatever you know, or whatever you want, trial day, getting to know each other, a full day assessment, call it however you want. When we invite the people in our company and want to have a day with them to see how the mindset is and so on, like I mentioned before, of course, in the beginning, they sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, and then it's okay to, for example, see customer names or sit in the same room where an appointment with the customer is made. That they see, for example, how we present our results.
Number 5 questions regarding AI. AI tools are automating pen testing tasks, some of it, and some say they're stealing junior roles. So in this case, how can junior candidates show hiring managers like you their manual skills are still worth betting on in a technical interview?
Maybe I can give the question back to you and ask, how could someone evolve to a professional when they are not beforehand in a junior role? You know what I want to say is, in a junior role, of course, a lot of tasks can be automated. Also, bash scripts are...
But I think what separates your candidates is the thinking outside of the box mindset that they have. You will not think right away you can change this kind, or you will not think that this might be vulnerable for this kind of thing, but that junior candidate has this kind of methodology that uncover all of those things. So is this a good thing for the junior candidates, for you to hire them even though the AI is already rampant right now?
Juniors will always be necessary. When you have a starting point into cybersecurity, of course, if you don't have that experience that is necessary for being a professional or a higher role than a junior, so it's necessary that you have the role as a junior and also have the chance to learn. And sure, a lot of tasks can be automated, AI-driven or by scripting or whatever, but it's mandatory and necessary to learn and to evolve. And also what you mentioned, to combine different vulnerabilities, which probably, I don't want to say has not been before because everything has been there before, except you are hunting for 0 days or whatever. But to combine those vulnerabilities, to chain them, to get a huge kill chain, it can be sometimes really, really abstract and complex. Sometimes maybe too complex for a perspective of a junior role.
But if they know how it works in the background, then I think they can see some ideas already, even though they don't know how to do it, because of course they're junior, but they might have some ideas, right? That can be witty. Okay, let's go to the sixth question. So the industry can feel like a gated community favoring insiders with connections. So how can underdog candidates without elite networks or degrees or certifications blow hiring managers away in a pen testing interview, aside from the values?
I would encourage everyone not to state and to mimic to be a very high-skilled person. Being honest. Being honest is the goal number one.
Okay.
And it's never a shame to just say, I don't know this yet right now out of the box. I knew how I could find and figure out this information to answer this question, but right now I don't know.
How about the technical skills? What are you expecting for them in order to blow the hiring managers or to impress the hiring managers?
The cybersecurity field is very, very, very huge and wide. And you can go deep in so many different layers, in so many different areas. So for example, you can be a professional web application pentester. You can be the godfather of Active Directory. You can be in IoT section. There are so many branches where you can dig deep. And as soon as I think most of the people in the security area are there for a specific reason. And the reason is not being famous, having money, whatever. It's the motivation, the interest in cybersecurity. And so they start everywhere their path in cybersecurity. For example, some people are more into Linux hacking. People are more into Windows hacking. You know what I mean? So when you are in an interview situation and you want to prove and show your skills because you're afraid that you have not that amount of certifications and are standing in an interview, choose the topic you're feeling comfortable with. Don't stack too high and have a solid foundation. This
next question is again kind of controversial. So, 7th question. What's the most cringe-worthy mistake you've seen a candidate make in a pen testing interview? And what's the one thing job seekers must nail to avoid bombing it?
The biggest mistake I've seen in a job interview where I decided to cancel the interview, which was scheduled for 1 hour, which I canceled after 3 minutes, was lying.
Okay. So what did the interviewee said to you back then?
They handed over the CV, the application letter, and there were several certificates and whatever, what's typically in a CV, and also their language skills. And there was German with native speaker given. And also the email conversation beforehand was perfect German. And then we got into the interview.
He cannot speak German?
No.
Oh my gosh.
This is okay. This is not a solid base for a trustworthy.
Yes.
Okay, let's skip this for now.
You know now what to avoid. So
just being honest, don't lie, and don't stick too high.
And number 8 question. Some candidates try to flex gray hat stories or black hat stories in interviews to sound edgy. But does that backfire? What legal, ethical ways can they showcase skills to impress us instead of showcasing those black hat skills or what?
When it comes to such hacker stories, which are definitely against the law at the end of the day.
Yes.
And even they got not arrested or it got not further investigated by police, whoever, whatever, because they were just lucky. I don't know. When it comes to such stories, it could be a funny one.
Okay.
Because they maybe accidentally discovered something and were too afraid or whatever.
Yes.
But when this was what I would call a grey hat story.
Okay.
But when it comes to black hat stories.
Yeah. Okay.
How can you hire a guy which is definitely handling and acting against the law?
Yes.
And not fulfilling the respect of our clients? How can you expect this?
So technically, if there's some, what do you call this, nation-state actor that get imprisoned and then apply to ProSec, they won't. They won't get, okay. And then...
Probably not. And like I mentioned before, even if you have this highly skilled people.
If the value is not there.
If the value is not there, maybe the passion is there.
Yes.
And they are eager and willing to learn very, very fast.
Yeah.
This is not everything.
Yeah. What if that person want to change? So what will happen?
When not the cameras are running, I would say when the mindset is you can change the mindset.
Okay. Okay.
Not in that deep.
Okay.
Everyone is a little bit adjustable and can feel comfortable and change their opinions.
Okay.
But when the mindset from the beginning is in a total opposite direction than our culture is, than our company and our philosophy is, it's not possible to have a future together.
Okay.
Sadly.
Okay. So number 9 question regarding the soft skills. What's the one non-technical trait you've seen candidates flop on? And how can they prove they've got it during the hiring process when it comes to non-technical skills?
When it comes to soft skills, it's kind of hard to measure. Of course, we don't want to have that technically high-skilled person, not only when a person is high-skilled, perfect, but this is not the only thing that we are looking for. Because the pentesters should be capable for presenting their results to the client, to the customer. And this is also a soft skill, for sure. But when we zoom out a little bit and go back a little bit, during the interview, checking the soft skills, like I mentioned, it's kind of hard. What I try to figure out is what is their passion, besides from IT-related topics, It could be a hobby, it could be cooking, it could be cocktails, music, whatever, I don't know. And as soon as they start to talk about it, because I ask questions about, okay, that's interesting, how long you do it, and
asking you can see them how they present it because they're interested about it.
Exactly.
Okay. So you're thinking that if ever that they already present something they love about, for example, within the ProSec, if they got hired, then they will present it like that because that's how they do it.
Yeah. Okay. And of course, when you ask someone in an interview for a cybersecurity role, what is your interests? Of course, 9 out of 10 people say cybersecurity, hacking, whatever. No, I don't mean this one. I mean something totally different, which has nothing to do with IT, cybersecurity, or whatever. And then you can try to see how they act when they talk about something they are passionate about. The next question is, are they already passionate about cybersecurity? It's totally fine if they are not, but when you enlight the fire and when you have the chance and have the success to enlight the fire for cybersecurity and they feel the same for cybersecurity as about the topic they talked previously about, then they have such a high learning curve, and it doesn't matter what certifications they have, what degree they have.
Okay.
Does this answer your question?
Yes, of course. So, I think that's one of the things that a lot of the people are also preparing whenever they find job, how they present themselves. Because it's like they are selling,
selling themselves
yeah.
at the end of the day. But what's also important, nothing new. Don't stack too high.
Yeah.
Be honest.
Yeah.
And it's not a shame to say, I don't know.
Yes, that's right. So number 10, what's one project or achievement that made you want to hire someone in the past on the spot? And how can job seekers replicate that specific scenario for their preparation? Like, oh, dang, this guy, we really need him. Like something like that.
It's not about this one specific task or this one specific project, achievement or whatever.
Yeah.
Of course, if in the application is a LinkedIn profile, sure, I visit it, I look around, what are the likes, what are the topics, what are the comments.
Yeah.
When there's a GitHub profile, of course, I visit it, I see what projects are there. Maybe they have done some work inside those projects, but it's all about having a whole profile. So it's not about this GitHub profile, this GitHub repository was mind-blowing, so I need him. So it's more like, okay, that's very, very interesting that he has this in his CV and he has this in his profile and this profile and social media and so on. So it makes the people more authentic.
Are there some specific situation in your hiring where you feel that? Can you give us some experience where, for example, oh, this guy have this kind of things, that's why you think of this hiring?
Usually it's more that I have those informations and pick them up during the interview process, during the interview talk itself, during the chat. For example, there was one guy that had a key logger project, but he mentioned this in his CV and also had a corresponding GitHub repository out of it. And I thought it was very, very interesting. Not the project itself, but the fact that he has challenged this, made thoughts about it,
Make time about it.
spend time with it, exactly. Yeah, and you use this to ask questions, not to check if he is disqualified or disqualified, just to see how's the way of his thinking.
Yeah. Do you have something to tell our audience how they can replicate this kind of thing in order for them to, make you feel the same as how you feel on that guy?
Be authentic.
Okay.
It's easy as that. It's not easy as that, I know. But being authentic is really important. Of course, you can make a social media profile which is polished from the beginning to the end. But when you get into the interview situation and the profile is not matching to the person you are talking to, it's making not authentic.
This thing, you will feel this, you want to hire this guy if everything is matching, or the whole profile is matching, like the technical skills, when you talk to them, it's all in there, the values and all of the mindset and stuff. So that's what you're looking for.
The last time I was not in a similar situation. We were having a chat during an interview. His opinion was, and I really liked this opinion, that he said no one can know everything. And of course, he has sometimes knowledge gaps, which he's might aware of, and maybe he didn't have time yet to fill those gaps. But he knew that he had those gaps, and I find it very inspiring to see and to say, no one can know everything.
Actually, that's one of the misconceptions that the other people outside cybersecurity is thinking that if you are a hacker, you know everything about tech, but it's not really true. You cannot really master everything. So that's right. So number 11, overhyped tools and trends get thrown around at conferences, but what's one you think is just total noise? And what practical skills should candidates demonstrate in interviews to prove they are the real deal? So let's go first on the first question. What's one part you think that is just total noise in some of the trends right now?
Tools, trends, and techniques. Everyone has his own way. Well, if someone is very comfortable with using explicitly this tool or in performing this approach, then it's totally fine. For anyone else, it could be this tool is trashy, shitty, too slow, too noisy, too whatever, I don't know. Everyone should have their methodology and using their tools that they are feeling comfortable with, independent on the trend.
Okay. So what are the technical skills should candidates demonstrate in interviews to prove they're the real deal for you?
When we are talking...
Except for the values and stuff.
Yeah, sure. When it comes to vulnerabilities, to security misconfigurations, to whatever technical details which are relevant for cybersecurity role, for me personally, it's not that much important to know about the vulnerability itself, but to know the underlying protocols and mechanisms.
Yeah.
To have a solid understanding of, for example, how LDAP works, how Kerberos works.
Yeah.
No one has to be the expert of LDAP and write up queries like on the fly, you know?
Yeah.
But when you are talking about, for example, Kerberosing, to understand the attack is one thing. To understand how this attack works is a totally different thing.
Yeah.
And to explain to someone what Kerberosing is, it's quite easy. You're authenticated, you get a hash, you can crack this hash, you can impersonate this user. Bam, that's it. But to know how this works, to know how Kerberos works, not in that detail. I think to know Kerberos in total, there are not many people. But have a solid understanding of the basis.
Avoiding those people that is just running tools and...
Yeah, exactly.
without knowing what they're doing. So I think I wrote some kind of like that in my book, where you need to know how it really works in order for you to really hack it. Because in there you can see, you can strategize how you can break it. Because you know now how to build it. You know now how it works, how it moves and stuff like that. So in there, you just need to be creative and think outside of the box in order to exploit it.
That's what hacking is the origin for.
Yes.
Seeing how a system works.
Yes.
And see how to circumvent security mechanisms, to see how bypass, how to misuse, and how to alternatively use specific features.
Yeah. Okay, so for the last question from our viewers, what's the most unexpected question or challenge you've thrown at a candidate? And how can job seekers prepare for curveballs to leave a lasting impression? So for the first question, unexpected question or challenge you've thrown at a candidate.
I don't want to throw some unexpected questions to the candidate. If those questions are unexpected, then this was not my intention. Okay. My intention during the interview process is to have the interviewee feeling comfortable.
Yeah.
Not
like getting to know them.
Exactly. This is the reason why we have those chat.
Yes.
To getting to know each other, not to see how he performs under stress or in a situation where he doesn't feel comfortable.
Okay.
This is not what the typical day of a pentester looks like. Sometimes you get thrown into situations where you don't feel comfortable, where you are stressful for sure, but that's a totally different thing to learn.
Okay.
So when I have this interview, I want to get to know each other both way around. So it's not just having a sequence of questions and then check, next one.
Those guys that I hired back then, they are leaving an impression to me. That impression where after the interview, after getting to know them, I can see that, we can work together for a very, very long time. That we will not just be workers, but we will become, we can change things, we can make a lot of better things to offer within our society and stuff. So I think that's one lasting impression that I can have within those guys that I interview.
That's also the reason why we are looking for authentic people, like I mentioned a couple of times before, that are not that high skilled, that they fit into the team, that they fit in our philosophy, in our company culture. Because being in a cybersecurity role, being a pen tester is not just a job for me personally. It's more like a hobby, and in a hobby you have some personal invest also. And so it's not a 9-to-5 job. And yeah, sometimes you're sitting there until late in the evening because there is something that you want to understand. You know, you're sitting there and you trying around, figuring out something new, researching, reading blogs and so on. Yeah, and we spend a lot of time at work in the office.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of time with each other.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's important to have those people that you're familiar with, that you're comfortable with.
And what can you say to the audience that we have that is, you know, not from the cybersecurity background, but wanted to shift to cybersecurity jobs right now? What can you advise them?
Be curious, choose a topic that you are interested in, and dig deep into that topic.
Okay.
Maybe do certifications if you want to.
Aside from certifications, what are the things that you can advise them to do, like some kind of trainings, like for example, is it try hack me, hack the bugs and other stuff, creating their own lab? What can you advise them to do in order for them to be successful or to become hired when it comes to cybersecurity?
Be curious. Try to dig deep.
Yeah.
But not in a forced way. Don't force yourself to, I must learn this one.
Yeah.
Instead of this, choose the topic that you're interested in. Or maybe being curious in a way that there is a new WordPress exploit that is being exploited publicly in the wild.
Yeah.
For example, pick up the exploit code, try to understand it, try to replicate it, try to figure out how the heck is this security researcher discovered this exploit, this vulnerability.
I think it adds a real motivation to them if they wanted to know that specific something that they wanted to learn. Because if you just force it like, oh, you need to learn this and this and this, it's like, oh, there's a lot of tasks, there's a lot of chores. But if you really wanted to know these things, some specific topics, then you will not wait a lot of days in order to just learn it. You will just open your laptop, learn it right away and stuff. So yeah. And how about your advice for the overall job seekers, for the cybersecurity enthusiasts right now, whether it's in junior and senior or in mid-level stuff? Aside from being curious, what can you tell them whenever they are in a job interview? What can you advise them?
Being honest.
Okay, being honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also mentioned before, being honest. Know what you can do, know what you cannot do, and be transparent with this.
Yeah. It's like it's okay that you don't know everything, that you can be transparent to the interviewer that, hey, I know this, I have experience with this, but I don't have experience with this kind of thing. Something like that. Because I think a lot of the job seekers are afraid that because they become transparent that they are not familiar with this, they will excluded in the process right away. So
when they get excluded because they say, I'm not very familiar with this topic, more in this topic, and then they excluded due to the fact that they mentioned this, I would say it's the wrong company.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah, it's a wrong company for that specific person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Not really an evil company because I think,
no.
Yes. So usually, yeah, I think that's a good thing, that you must have a company that really is within your skill set, within your interests and stuff. And yeah, by being transparent, you just dodge the bullet or dodge the, what do you call this, things that you might not want at the end.
There will be no surprises if you are honest, if you're transparent.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a really good discussion with you. First of all, thank you again for being here in the interview. And for the viewers in here that is watching, I hope you have a lot of things for your next interview. And for the hiring managers that is watching us right now, this is just for ProSec way.
Yes.
So maybe you have a lot better ways in order to do this kind of thing. Then maybe you can share in the comment below. And if ever that you learn something from this, then maybe you can also share what are those things that you really like in this video. Yeah, for everyone, I hope you enjoy this show. And if ever that you really want this kind of content, then please subscribe to the YouTube channel. So thank you, Misha, and thank you everyone for listening and watching.
And never stop learning.
Yes.
Thanks.